Hi everybody, this is Tracy from Tracy's Art and Craft, and I'm here today doing some bookmark notebooks. So I've made one prior just to make sure it would work out how I wanted, and yeah, it is just a really sweet notebook. You could do a little tiny mini stamp on each page. You could decorate it up further if you wanted to. I quite like that it was plain, but you know, I may do a few that are a bit more decorated up. And yeah, it's a really good place to write down about what you're reading. I've just held it closed with a little paper clip because I thought I might hold it to a page with one as well. But yeah, so really simple, really easy. Let's just get cracking on. So I have cut out some pieces of card. Now I cut these from just card blanks because I buy the envelopes and then I use the card blanks to back things and to do stuff like that. So I've just cut it using card blanks. And I have cut mine 1.5 inches by, sorry, just measure this out, by 7. So mine are 1.5 inches by 7. And yeah, I'm just going to now back these with some paper. So you can get any old scrap papers you've got. These are the ones I'm happening to be using at the moment. Yeah, you could use any old papers. I think I'm going to use this one first. And all I did was I literally, really simple, just got some glue stick, popped that on. Now if you wanted to sew around these before you put them together as notebooks, you can skip the step of tacky glue. But I always say if you're not sewing it, it's a good idea just to put an edge of tacky glue around the edge. Just a little thin bead of it, and that will just stop it lifting up on the edges. It sort of protects them and stops it sort of all coming apart and coming away. And then just stick that one down. And I'm just going to go ahead and do 4 of these because I do need quite a few. Oops, sorry, wrong glue. So again, just with the glue stick and then an edge of tacky glue, and I'm just going to stick them all down to the back of this paper. I'm not going to be fussy about where they land. That will just be a happy surprise. There we go. I will push them down a bit more properly in a second. I'm just going to get these ones stuck. See, as you can see on my finger, I do have another burn because, you know, Miss Clumsy over here did burn herself on the glue gun again the other day. It seems to be just the way I go. You know, I'm always burning myself, cutting myself, or I am super clumsy though as a person, I really am. I've got a couple of kids that are as well, and they always blame me. They say they got it from me. So there we go. I'm just going to rub them down with this. All I use here is just a dry baby wipe. You can use tissue, whatever. It just soaks up all the excess glue, stops you getting quite so gluey. And when you've got tons of things to make, anything that stops you getting a bit more gluey is really handy. Now the great thing about this is I don't do any cutting apart from cutting the card. I just take my metal ruler, I line it up to the edge of my cards, and I just go ahead and tear. The glue is a bit wet, so like if I was making lots of these, I'd start off with the drier ones, and then yeah, I probably wouldn't be having such a hard time ripping them. So if there's any little like rips that go wrong, that's probably because I'm doing it while it's wet. Here we go, just go right across along the bottom of them all. That didn't rip quite so well. I'll tidy that up in a second, that's fine. Yeah, it'll probably all rip better for you. It's just that I'm rushing because I've got videos to do, so I've got quite a lot on my plate today. So there is one. Sitting there looking lovely. Just take this piece off. So I'm after the sort of more ripped edges. It really soaks up the ink well. I don't want it to be quite as much as this one here. So I will just by hand just come and grab that off. There we go, so there's another one. These papers are from Happiness and Crafting and will be showcased tomorrow in the design team project. So you'll get all the info for this paper tomorrow when I get that design team project up. Sorry, I'm coming off screen again. Okay, so here's number 3 at last. Oh no, that is meant to go that way. So I'm just looking, there's some text on this paper, and that's what I'm looking at to find out which way it's got to go. So if you've got right way or wrong way paper, then make sure you watch which way it goes, but if you haven't, then it's not really going to matter. So there we go, that glue is a bit wet, so it's a bit hard to rip just at the bottom there. Just make sure these are ripped right at the bottoms, yeah. So there we go, there's our 4 sides. This will make 2 little notebooks. So the next thing I do is I will put 2 of these away. Work with just 2. I put in some A4 hand-dyed paper. Now this is roughly a tiny bit bigger, I think, than American letter size. So I'm just squaring it up to my board, and at every 3 inches I'm just going to tear. So there's 3 inches. And here's the next 3. And the next 3. And then it leaves me with a little 2.5 inch piece. And this is the piece I'm going to stick on to the cover. So you want that to be dead center of these 3 inch pieces, like so, and then fold them in half. Hope that makes sense. Half would help if it would go to half. Come on. There we go. This didn't go to half either. Sorry about this. That's better. There we go. And pop that on. So you have this sort of little gap here, but this is what will stick to the book. So then from there I take my Tim Holtz tiny attacher, but you can use any stapler at all. I'm sorry for being quiet. The My husband's home today and he's just sort of in the kitchen and stuff, so I'm aware he can hear me. That's making me a bit shy. So there we go. I'm just going to ink round this because I would like them inked. You don't have to if you don't want to. So I'll just very quickly ink round this. I would normally take my time and make it a little bit prettier, but I do ink all the sides just in case I'm not quite sure which ones are going to be shown and things like that. It's easier just to get them inked. And there we go. If you do the front first, I find that doing the back second helps all those little ripped bits come forward, and it just looks really nice and sort of, if you like that sort of shabby look, it really does help to bring all those little fluffy ripped bits forward. There we go. So now what I do is I just line up where my bookmark is going to be, just so I can see, because it's going to be a little bit short and a little bit longer at either end. I want to make sure I've got those staples in there, so make sure your staples are sort of in the middle. And then from there I'm just going to put some glue down and then pop this on. And you want it to be lined up with those lot, you know, the wider papers. So don't worry about what this paper's doing, don't line it up with the wider papers. There we go. Just rub it down, making sure it's stuck. And then I'll just take some scissors and I just cut top and bottom. You can rip, of course, if you want to. You don't have to cut. There we go. And get rid of those. And then on the back, simple as anything, just glue that last page. Again, you could go into detail inking all these. You could decorate them up rather than leaving them plain. Let me just make sure I've got the right way around. Yep. I've got a little bit of text here and here, and I'm just making sure they're up the right way so we haven't got anything going upside down. Now the last thing you want to do is just open it up and just check that that glue hasn't oozed and gotten stuck to the inside pages. Because if you have any of it seeping out, it's going to cause a problem later on. And there we go. You can just add on a pretty paper clip or decorate a normal paper clip up if you want to hold it shut. But there is your little notebook, and you can write down what page you were on, just so you've got extra security. You could write down a little bit about what you've been reading. Any avid reader really enjoys having something they can take a couple of little notes down on and things. So having that tied in with your bookmark, I think is a really nice idea. So there we go. We've got two. Shall I show you how to decorate them up a little? I think I will. So in case you want to decorate them up, there are various ways. These ones are big. Let's have a little look at what we've got over here. Oh, that one's cute. I think I'll add a few leaves as well. So sort of going down and let's add on a little postcard, one of the mini postcards. These are G's again for happiness and crafting. There we go. So I'm just going to ink a few of these bits up before I stick them all on, now that I know where I want them to go. You can add cheesecloth, you can add all sorts of bits and pieces. I'll have a look in just a second at what I've got. Now the reason I like inking the edges is these will have fussy cut by hand by me, so when you ink the edges it gives you just that sort of it stops it looking like it's freshly cut for a start. Any mistakes you make, any little bits you've missed, it covers those up as well. So first of all I think I might pop a little bit of this just down the edge. This is like a jute sort of trim. To stick down the jute I'm going to use 3-in-1 because that will just you know, hold it a lot better than a tacky glue will. You do have to sometimes just give it a second to grab. From there I'm just going to pop on the leaves. Don't worry about going over the jute and things like that. That will give it sort of a more of a pop. The only reason you'd have to worry is if you're using copy paper. I'm not using copy paper here currently. I'm using 120, 160. This one's 160, this was 120. Of course you could decorate it underneath if you'd rather. I'm going to cut these two words. Just ink the edges. I can get them to fit better then. There we go, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on the back one as well of this jute. And it is that simple. So you could either have them plain, like I've shown you there, and just sort of decorate it up with the paperclip itself, or you can decorate it up and there we go. Like I say, you can add little mini stamps onto them if you wanted to. Just stamping some of this. I've gone and added glue to the paper. Don't do that. There we go. But there we go. They are just that simple, that easy, and they just make such a beautiful addition. Again, you could just make these and add them into books that you're given as gifts. You don't have to do it as like for journals and things. So yeah, I hope you like them, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.